Okay, we are live. Let me just start by sharing the stream into our Discord community and then let's start. Okay, I shared the stream into the Discord. So I'm gonna wait for a few people to join and then we're gonna start off our analysis on Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin has almost reached all-time highs, man. Crazy. Of course, it was part of some fundamental news, but then again, crazy, crazy pump. So I'm just gonna wait for a few people here and there, then starting the analysis straight away. Okay, think we have done enough waiting. Let's just start by going over Bitcoin. Um, Bitcoin, it's been pumping like crazy these days. I think that also was the cause of some fundamental news that happened. Some scarcity of the the dollar maybe falling and all that kind of stuff. Me no. ITK hi Chartsmith. What's up? Chartsmith is not here yet. You are the first one to talk in the chat. Good to have you here in the stream, man. If you have any questions, you know what to do. You can openly speak about it here. For now, let me continue with Bitcoin. Like I said, the pump was because of some fundamental news. It's all okay. Because, well, we did bounce on a really nice part. I did expect downside after this liquidity hunt and then the continuation down. And because we did not create something really locally here on Bitcoin, you can see this is, oops, this was pretty trash what Bitcoin did here. This weird range, all of this liquidity still being at the lows. It's not great, right? So I didn't expect Bitcoin to go up from there. with this bottom that we have made, but we did, and that was part of some fundamental news, so it's okay. But then again, we were at a really good support zone, right? Because if you look at this whole accumulation, this was a part that brought us all the way up to new highs. This is not a break of structure, it's just a liquidity hunt. So this would not be a valid low to continue this trend from here. No, it would still be this right here. Hold that low and we can continue up. Well, we did hold that low. This is a known bottoming out pattern. And well, we did sweep a lot of liquidity for our next move up. So I guess I guess I became a bit too bearish on Bitcoin, but then again, you cannot expect the fundamental news to come out that pump Bitcoin up like this. So what can we expect next for Bitcoin? Well, I had two resistant POIs in the chart, and these are the two most important zones you can have in your chart in this whole move down, okay? And now you need to pay attention because this is going to be a little bit about supply and why I have these zones drawing. So if we take a look on the 1 hour, or let's do 4 hour, we can clearly see our trend was up, right? And our expectancy was a higher low for a new higher high, as long as we could hold this level right here. We failed to do so, we broke below it. Well, then that's when aggression comes into the market, and this demand, when you flip it, it becomes a breaker, so basically a supply, and you're continuing from there. Either way, this was the first move sellers stepped in, and our trend changed from bullish to bearish. So why this zone and why this zone? Now we have a little bit of context about what happened here. We can take a look. If we look on the 1 hour, what is our last little bit of price action before we've lost this demand? Exactly. We can see this price action right here. So buyers were still in control this moment, but then this price action happened and sellers pushed down really hard from here. So that makes this an interesting point. And I think on the lower time frame, it's just a valid pullback. Yeah, so lower high for new lower lows. So this is really important to draw in your last price action before losing your major support. Really important. And that's also why if we look to the right, we did get a reaction from it here. And that's also now why we flipped it. So it's a little breaker. We can look for support here. I mean, we're trending up until it's proven otherwise. This pullback brought us all the way up towards new highs. There's no liquidity hunt to be seen here yet. We're building some lower highs, indicating that we could return right here. If we had some sort of liquidity hunt and then a move down, I wouldn't really be interested in too long here, but it looks like our highs are just being left open and we can continue playing this trend on local confirmation, of course. So this is a really nice point of interest to look at. We're gonna look the same way as we always do. We want to wait for local confirmation. And that is pretty much also what I have to say about Bitcoin on this local price action. A 100% Mino. After a big pump like this, we need some breathing room. You're saying that really well. And why you're saying that really well? Well, because we cannot continue up for this forever. Look, if we do react from here and we're making new all-time highs, okay, so be it. But you're absolutely right. Just before all-time highs, it could make sense to start to consolidate, to either continue down or, of course, up. It depends how your consolidation is going to form. You're gonna build liquidity on both sides, take out one side, move towards the other, same way other around. Great scenario. That's why we also want to watch out here. I mean, you would have preferred to long here instead of all the way up at the top of your impulse. I'm not a fan of that, but we'll see what happens locally here. At least it's a great scenario to keep in mind that we could start to consolidate here, okay? Zeldra Sin, you're always in the streams, brother. Good to have you here. Um, Esther, we're gonna take a look at Esther because I know it has been pumping since yesterday. So we'll see what happened there. By the way, if you're in the stream, make sure to hit that like button. Let's push this stream out there. The more likes, the more YouTube pushes my stream out there. Okay. Esther, sure. Great, great input, Mino. Oh man. I didn't expect us to hit this already, but we did. Why are we rejecting from here and why are we not expecting a pump all the way up? Well, that is really simple. This is the first time sellers stepped into the market and pushed price down. You can see it. We were still bullish. We tried to make new higher highs, but sellers said no and pushed price down. We never tested it back. That's why you're getting reaction from here. Makes sense. Should have been a take profit moment here. Especially after we've taken out all this liquidity, but okay. Let's first talk a little bit about the video I uploaded about Aster when price was right here, and I told you guys if we hold the 1.7 mark, this old liquidity and this origin from this demand, if we manage to hold that, we can keep trading upwards, and that's exactly what we did. Let me remove these old drawings from a VIP session yesterday. But then you could have expected upside here. Well, that's what we got, and I mean, this would have been my biggest target. Not all-time highs, but no, your supply. You need to go through this supply first before going towards all-time highs. What is next for Aster? Veldris wants to know. Is there still opportunity here? What can we expect? Well, let's get into it. I definitely think there's still opportunity here. And that is because we need to take a look at market structure first. I have looked up market structure when price was right here, but every time we reanalyze our charts, we also need to reanalyze our high time frame because a lot of things has changed. A lot of hours went over the chart. The Chartsmith, yo, what's up, fam? Good to have you in the stream. Unfortunately, not the first one to join, like I always do in your stream, but it's fine. That means one less chart request for you today. All good. But coming back to my story, you want to keep drawing in your market structure every time you look at the charts. Again, I'm not saying that every 10 minutes, but no. When the next day you're charting Aster again, you need to chart in your high time frame as well. So our order flow on Aster was that we've made this higher high and we could expect a higher low for new higher highs. It's just following the expected order flow, right? Which is what we tried to do, and we did get a really good pump up. Now, I must say, no, I like my Aster, but we're gonna go some bearish scenarios in a bit. But let's follow this market structure. This brought us all the way towards new lows, meaning we flip this, and on the 4-hour, this would be a change of character. This is a clear break, a lot of candles opening and closing above it. So this is no deviation, no liquidity on nothing. No, this is just a gain of our market structure. We have now made a higher high. And what can we expect now between this low and this high? That is a higher low for new all-time highs in this case, because that's following our trend. This trend aligns, and now our internal trend has switched as well. We had a really nice session about that yesterday, Mino. So that is looking really good, but we have finished our expansion. We have touched supply now, so we can expect the market to retrace. Mino, XPL when you have a chance, please. Yeah, I saw some opportunities were being created on XPL. So definitely gonna go into that in a second after Aster. Made a nice banana shake and a cup of coffee. I'm totally ready for today's live stream. Alright, fuel the mind, fuel the body, and let's continue. So, the ascension of what we're trying to do here right now, our goal is to find this higher low within this structure to continue trading towards all-time highs. Now, I'm not a fan of going really aggressive now. You should have been in a trade here and take profit here. I do not want to try and chase the market by trying to continue to long this. No, I'm going to wait patiently here. What are our point of interest to look for that higher low to continue for the higher high? Because we need some reactions. Mino, I need some fish to fuel my brain to analyze the charge. Fish is great fuel. You need that omega-3. How else are you going to get it? I've had some fish, I think 2 days ago. I'll also have some pasta and 3 cans of tuna here in the kitchen. But okay. I've pointed in this zone because if you look at the 4-hour, we have a 4-hour bearish candle. You can see this is a little bit of a pullback before an expansion up with an imbalance above it. Now, I must say it is hard to look for those entry points because of how Aster grinded up here, right? We have created tons of liquidity, and that is not the strongest, because now that we have taken so much liquidity on the highs, that could mean we could start to rotate towards all of this liquidity on the lows. Remember, we can expect the higher low all the way till down there. We could even sweep those equal lows at the bottoms and then still move up. I do not want to get you overly too bullish here because we are so close at all-time highs. This is our last price action before we broke structure, so this is definitely another point of interest that we have to draw in and have to look at. Skip this song real quick. Tuna, such a cheat code. Yeah, just a can of tuna. You cook some pasta for 5 to 6 minutes, and you're literally done. You have a good meal. After this big bump for Aster, maybe locally we can short, but it's very risky because it's having strong momentum. Yeah, we're gonna go in the short scenarios basically right now. I've pointed out the long point of interest at the moment, and I don't think there's really anything else where we could see price return to here. Maybe here our first hold before that big expansion up, but for the rest this looks to me like it's all tested away. So we would like to hold strong here, and I would like to look at these two scenarios. If we do go below these 2 point of interest, then Um, we'll have to re-look at the charts again, but for now is how it's looking. Esprod, yo, what's up, bro? How's it going? Big moves on Bitcoin past few days. How are you placed in the market right now? Um, I am placed up until proven otherwise. I have charted Bitcoin at the beginning of the stream, so if you want to check that out, you can always rewind the stream if you want. As a trader, knowing how to prepare quick meals is vital, otherwise they might find me dead in front of the screen. Oh, you're right, Mino. Um, True, quick meals is something you have to do, but then again, I do love food. I love good food, and I also like taking my time preparing that food. But quick meals are never wrong. Never wrong. This is what I'm looking for right now, and for the short scenario, we have shown our first signs of weakness on Aster, okay? We have made this big pump up, and we've touched the supply where we wanted to see reaction. This tried to bring us up one more time, but seller stepped in, making new lower lows. That would also make this your supply at the moment. So let's move this a bit to the left. Thanks for your point of view. Yeah, thank you. No problem, Sildris. No problem, man. If you have any other requests or any other views even on Aster, then feel free to share them. Even if you guys have some charts at the moment, you can drop them in the Discord and I could look at them live and I could give you some feedback live. Also optional. But we have broken our first big higher time frame structure pool. We can see this clearly brought us up to new higher highs, and we would like to hold it to continue that trend upwards. We have failed to do so, meaning not a great break yet, but that doesn't mean it cannot get respected. But that means if we manage to leave open this high and price comes back here in a building liquidity way, then we could have a possible short opportunity right here on Aster. And who knows how far we can run that, because there's enough liquidity to target. We can clearly see the market needs to refuel after a big bump like this, because all of the liquidity we took out on the left. So multiple scenarios I've drawn in now. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm going to be looking at. And if something comes the way, we are going to take a trade based on it. Yeah, that's pretty much just on Aster now. Need to be patient. Zelda Aster has been my main focus for this week, to be honest. Yeah, I really like Aster, except for what we did here. It was hard to find a long here. I have shorted the market when Aster was right here, because you were in this really big resistance zone. We've also pre-planned that into the Discord and shared that we have actually taken the trade in the Discord as well. We shorted Aster there, nice trade. But when we flip that zone, your short invalidation is gone and you can expect upside. And that's also what I made about the video. So I'm gonna be really careful with Aster now, because you want it to be in this move. Yeah. Looks like some volume rotation into ETH. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna take a look at ETH after I take a look at XPL for my boy Mino. We're gonna do that now, because I think there are some trade opportunities here. Yeah, Mino, don't worry, I didn't forget you, because you can already see the green bar on on the chart. So After XPL, I'm gonna look at ETH for you as well. But it seems that it's all juiced up, so I'm trying to look for the next thing. Well, it's just about finding coins that are moving well, right? That are tradable. That's what we're looking at, and I must say, every coin here in this list is tradable. This is really interesting to go into in a second. Let me put that here because this is going to be a little bit of range trail. This is so beautiful. Okay, calm down, Cage. XPL. So what we have been waiting on XPL for that market maker involvement, right? Because we could see the price moving a bit sideways. We had a range drawn in, just like this. Our swing low to our swing high, and we're moving sideways from there. And we have our first deviation indicating that we had possible market makers could be trying to push price up here. Well, this demand wasn't enough to break structure, so we kept on dumping. And so we needed this part for in order to get that rotation up, which is fine because that is still in our range book trading. Another deviation below the low. There we go. And because we have broken structure on the downside, yeah, this just looks like we can trade it easily towards the range high. So let's take a local look on what's going on here. If we can actually take a trade on here. I like this 15-minute structure. This is what brought us all the way towards new lows and also this liquidity hunt. So we had to break that for in order to expect that upside. That is your change of character. I like how we had a little bit of market maker involvement here. Not going too deep into that, but this is great what happened here to create a bottom and continue. Just a tip, luring in buyers, taking them out. 3 taps at the bottom. All I have to say. What is the part that cost us this change of character? So our last big push from buyers to actually break structure here. That is this demand here. So this is a really good point of interest to look for longs or even preset if the risk to reward is alright. What is your invalidation? This is clearly your invalidation. Let's see. First stop, you really want to target this one. That is your end of your whole trend liquidity. So you can expect reactions there. This is a terrible risk to reward. I wouldn't take this trade how I put it in the screen right now. So that would automatically mean that I'm gonna wait for local confirmation. We do something like this, get that change of character, then we have a way better risk to reward and an invalidation point, and we have a better risk to reward to trade towards our targets. That's what I'm gonna be waiting for myself. But even if you preset it, it's not bad. You could even have your target all the way up there. It's valid. But it's not not in my playbook to do. We're front running this point of interest right now. And it looks like we have created a new local range. We are trending up, and that's our first deviation of the high. So we have a range drawn in. Let's take a look. This is our swing high, this is our swing low, and we're moving in between them, extending the range by having those deviations, right? Okay, this is actually not bad what we get. So we had possible market makers trying to short the market, and then we had taken out the range low, meaning possible market could be accumulating on the market here. So we have two scenarios to look at this right now. So let's draw them all in. this is going to be a perfect example of range trading. We either touch extreme demand, or we take out extreme liquidity, or we go below the low one more time for us to confirm our rotation towards the highs. Oops. Three scenarios, another tap below the range, we can have 3 taps, and these 2 scenarios that I've pointed out. Extreme demand or extreme supply, one of the two. And with this deviation out the low, I want us to take out, I want us to tap into this demand. Why are we getting such a big reaction up? That is because we have taken out a bunch of liquidity at the moment. This brought us up to new highs, and we can see a lot of people try to play that higher low for new higher highs, because it's our 5-minute market structure, right? If we manage to hold that low, then we could have expected more upside. But our 15-minute market structure was right here, and it would be looking something like this. But on the 5-minute, it looks like this. So we can see that people have tried to long it, and we traded above the high, luring in a lot of buyers into the market, thinking we are going to continue this trend up. Well, there wasn't really a risk to reward to get from me here, so I wouldn't have taken trades there. But the point is, you are creating a lot of liquidity below those lows by trading above the highs, even though we have a deviation. That's what we took out here, and that's why we're getting this bullish reaction right now. It looks like we have created so much liquidity here that this could be enough to start pumping. We're not there yet, but we could just start getting that expansion up. But how are we gonna make a play out of this at the moment? Well, these are the 3 scenarios I'm looking at. We're gonna be looking aggressive at longs if this happens, because our high time frame wants to go up. Our local time frame wants to go up. Our higher time frame has market maker involvement and wants to go up. And now you can see how many biases and confluences you align. You're increasing your probability of a trade. And that's what you want to do with trading. You want to combine a lot of confluences so you can take a trade based on those confluences. I see giving a free VP lesson in the stream. Don't go sleep on this value. No, I am in the mode right now. I can tell from myself I am in the mode. And this is for sure a VP session. This could even be talked about as a one-on-one session for someone. So you're absolutely right. Oh, I am. Yeah, I'm in the flow. I know. So we need to wait, okay? This is such a big bump up. We cannot take trades here because our invalidation is on a lower point. There's no risk to reward to gain from here. Let's see if we had a 1-minute scalp though, because I think we could have missed that. Because you had this range formed. When you have a swing high, swing low, you come back to the middle points and you have your range confirmed, right? Well, then we traded above the high, lured in buyers, great, took them out. Possible reasons for upside if we just managed to break structure. So let's see if we actually had a scalp here. Okay. If we take a look at this is our last pullback before we created new lows and also grabbing a really important liquidity point. I'm gonna check the volume here. The volume is also really nice, way above average, also could be indicating that big players are stepping into the market. And because we swept that low, we can straight away see the reaction up from the market. And what did we test back? Our old liquidity low. That is so strong. even these body candle closes, it's insane how we held this all low. If we are trading aggressive, this is an aggressive way to bounce from. Leaving your lows open could indicate we need liquidity from the highs. Why are we leaving our lows open? Because we've just taken something significant from the left. Well, this is our change of character. I think this is valid. We've closed above it here and after we opened and closed. So this is definitely valid. Well, this is our push towards the upside that brought us to new highs. So we would have to hold this low for in order to continue that trend. It's a bit hard to find like a real demand, a real entry right here. But I would look at this right here. This is our push down, then we made the push up. So I would be looking for that to test back. With our invalidation point below this low, but better over here. That is a real invalidation. And then, sure, 3RR was realistic. Sure. Yeah, this was a setup, for sure. But I wasn't on my PC at the time. Well, I think I was, but I was starting the live stream, so should have looked at XPL first instead of Bitcoin and etc. But it's okay. We miss things. What can we do now? Only thing we can do now is wait for these three opportunities to create. That's the only thing we can do here. We're not gonna chase the market, because if we had to be in here, it was supposed to be down here. We are not, so we're not gonna chase this whole up move that we have missed. No, we're just gonna wait for the market and look at different coins. What do? We place an alert on this point of interest, and if that alert goes off, then we are gonna take another look at it. I'm not interested in shorting here, because everything on the higher time frame is just pointing up, right? And even the daily, I thought the daily time frame was building up really nice. Yeah, you can see this is a little trick. I don't use this a lot in my live analysis, but this could be a swing low on the daily time frame. How these candle patterns have formed. Okay, that was XPL. Let's go over Ethereum. Ethereum. If anyone has any questions or requests after Ethereum, then drop them in the chat. Would be happy to take a look at it. XMR looks like it wants to break out on weekly. We'll check it after ETH. Okay, let's continue, team. You can already see I have this drawn in, right? This was the pullback that brought us all the way up to new highs. This isn't a valid break, so I would not call this our structure pull that really brought us to new highs, and see this as a really big downtrend switch. No, it's still, excuse me, it's still this towards new highs, and we can expect higher low for new higher highs. We had a distribution on Ethereum at the highs. Market makers stepping in to push the price down. This was really bearish in my opinion, because when we have swept all-time highs and then we started distributing from there, how more bearish can we get it? Well, we have reached our technical target of that sweep, which is the range low. But the funny thing is, we are still in that same range. So let's start by drawing this in. I need to remove this. It's fine if I draw it over again. Because yes, we had this distribution at the highs, but a distribution, the technical target of a distribution is the range low that has been hit, and we could possibly go over into a accumulation, having these three taps at the bottom to continue up. So we also have to keep that in mind. We need to look at all the bearish scenarios and all the bullish scenarios, so we are prepared for everything. Okay, there isn't really a reason for price for me to go take out this high. That's because market makers were involved in pushing price down here. We've touched this extreme supply and we continue down. So if we want to reject, I want to do it from here. And I do think if we manage to continue up and we take out this high, then all-time highs is inedible. If inedible, it's how do you say that? I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. You all know what I mean. So what do we have to do now? We have our first deviation at the low. So there are multiple scenarios that we can look at once again. We have the extreme liquidity. We have the extreme demand. So let's look at that. This is a pullback. This demand has been tested, we can see. So I'm gonna continue one up. Is this our extreme demand? Yes, it is. And why do I like this? Because I know what happened here on the lower time frame. But you look at this. A retail pennant. You're building liquidity on both sides. Then you manipulate it on one side. And then we got the expansion up. Bye-bye retail players. And win-win for market makers. And we have never tested this zone back, which shows a lot of aggression from the market. But that also means we can come back here because it's not tested. That makes this a really good liquidity point. It's basically both of these lows, but we can just draw on the first one. Nine likes on the stream. Thank you guys for liking the stream. We can see in the last couple of weeks there's more and more people watching the streams, watching the content. It's beautiful to see, man. Really glad you guys are all here with us on the stream. And if there's more input from you guys, you know I'm gonna give more output. That's how I work. And if there's no input, you're getting no output. Okay. So for anyone new here in the stream, where do I come from? Well, we have a Discord community that we are building, and I'm streaming on behalf of the Discord community. This is how we like to trade in the community, and I mean, this is what we do. The Chartsmith has posted a link right now in the chat, so that is beautiful. So if you are interested in joining, it's absolutely free to join. You can ask questions there, you can keep in touch with us, and ask chart requests anytime, and we'll take a look at that when we have the time. So I'm gonna pin that. So let's continue our analysis on Ethereum here. What I always like is when your demand overlaps with old lows, okay? And you can clearly see how great of a point of interest this is. If Ethereum managed to reject here on your supply, this is your whole structure supply, and then you do have a little fine-tuned supply here, but let's just keep that out of the chart for now, because this is your whole buy to sell move. This whole move is when sellers decide to push price down. So I am really interested in Ethereum around the 4K. Oh yeah, that's also in combination and in confluences with this POI here, the 4,000 mark. And I can already bet you the 4,000 mark gets respected as support and resistance. We have not gotten really a lot of price action here, but this zone also overlaps with all of our current, all of our previous high I can see here. So all in all, beautiful zone. Of course, we have this point of interest as well, but it's going to be less interesting for me to look at here because we have such a great POI here. Everyone wants to buy here. Literally everyone, because everyone knows market structure and knows we can expect this. And that makes it interesting to take out those lows and go to the zone below it, okay? So I'm going to be really careful in this POI, but I'm mostly looking at the one below it. Nothing interesting with the volume at the moment. Yeah, I mean, we're just in resistance at the moment. This is really ugly from ETH, but we do have a range at the moment. We have a front run of our previous structure. Draw these in. Swing high, swing low. We've deviated the high once. We are in supply, so this could mean market makers are trying to push price down on ETH. We can already see a little bit of a compression form as well. That's great because after the compression, that's when opportunities are here. Why do you think Bitcoin didn't reject at 786? So on the daily fib from higher low, crazy front run on the golden pocket yesterday. Let me look into that in a little bit. But you have to keep in mind, front running those point of interests have 2 points. One, it shows strength, and two, because other people are looking at the point of interest to buy Bitcoin. If they don't want more people to buy Bitcoin, then they're gonna front run that zone. Or it's gonna be interesting for them to get to that later. So now we have the deviation of the high. Let's look if we have some extreme supply at the highs here. I don't think it's the most beautiful one, but it's definitely here. This tried to bring you to new highs, but this is the first time sellers stepped in and pushed price down to change our expected order flow. And this is possibly also just a 15-minute order block, 5 minutes, not 15, 10, also not, 5 minutes then. But this will be our extreme supply. Extend our range. This is the first liquidity point that we have created. Now we have already 2 possible short scenarios to get into the market. Also a long scenario on ETH. And do we have a reason to make another tap above the high? That's when we need to take a look at price action to the left, because is there a reason to? Sure, there definitely is. like to take this liquidity here then. So we do get another deviation. I want us to take out more of that liquidity. Okay, that's my local playbook on ETH here. It's untouchable at the moment. Just wait for the compression to play out, and then we can talk about entering. Wait for the masses to be stopped out, and that's when smart money has the chance to fill up their own orders and push price in the desired direction. Okay, let me answer your question, Askprod. Why do you think Bitcoin didn't reject at the 7.8? On the daily, right? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. You're talking about rejecting, so we'd have to draw it these ways. Maybe this one? Or were you talking about this one? I'm not sure, G. If you want me to answer it more in depth, you can send in a chart in the Discord, and then I have a real-time example to compare it to. The first one, so this one. Well, it did give us a reaction on the lower time frame because the 7186 was combined with a really nice zone. I explained this at the beginning of this stream, and that was a really nice POI. We did get a reaction from there. And yesterday, indeed, a crazy front run on the golden pocket. Yeah, why is that? Because we didn't need the golden pocket. All we needed was the liquidity. All we needed was the liquidity from here. And we don't need to touch a golden pocket for us to reverse price. You have to keep in mind, the only way why Fibonacci gets respected is because a lot of people use it. So that means when price comes at certain levels, you're just gonna get some more buying slash selling power in those points. Well, if they don't want people to short the market here, they're gonna front run it. And when price does this, the people that wanted to short here are gonna FOMO into positions. Well, you can see what happened. They got absolutely destroyed, thinking Bitcoin was gonna dump. But like I said, there is a reason for everything, and Fibonacci is never gonna be a part of my reasoning. Because, oh, we rejected from the golden pocket. No, we rejected from this supply right here, for example. It's just you can use the golden pocket the same way you used with support and resistance. You need to combine your point of interest with those levels. Like, for example, this level that I've talked about beginning of the stream, it did give you a nice correction. Not the correction you wanted to, but it's still 1.4% on Bitcoin. You could have taken a possible scalp trade on there. Now, I know there wasn't a trade there for me, but it's just an example. So that's why, my friend. I only use Fibonacci for higher time frame targets. So, for example, if you want to take a look, if Bitcoin breaks towards all-time highs here, what would be our targets? That's when I'm using Fibonacci, because you have no price action to the left, That's when you're gonna use Fibonacci a lot more. Yeah, for price discovery, I would look at 129, 131, 135. And if we really blow up, then maybe the 150k. But you know, I'm a trader. We're gonna look at it level by level. Even if we start breaking below right here, we could expect more downsides. It's also something we have to do. This brought us up to newer highs. So if this doesn't get us to new highs, but we flip it, then we can expect price to make lower highs and lower lows until it's proven otherwise, and then we can continue the other way again. Mino, I feel blessed. You should bless yourself, my friend. I mean, you're the one. Nice. You're the one putting in the effort. You're the one that recognized, well, our way of analyzing in the Discord group, and you analyzed that there is value in that. And that's why you joined the Discord and you also took action on it. So you should be blessed by yourself, my friend. You've put yourself in this situation, so good job. You saw opportunity and you grabbed the opportunity by the throat. So, compliments to you, man. Okay, let's quickly check XPL. Something happened. This would be even greater, right? Ooh, well, it's gonna make us. Price is gonna make it a little bit more difficult from us, and that's because we took out extreme lick, and because we do have that deviation on the high. This could be a distribution signaling that we can go lower. But if price grinds down towards our point of interest, I'm still ready to take along, because the goal of this distribution could just be to tap in this demand or go below the range low one more time and then pump up. Let's see. I haven't charted Avantis yet, and I'm not going to, because if you want to see Avantis analysis, you should check the channel of the Chartsmith. He is in the chat at the moment, so you can just press his channel and put the Avantis video on your watch list. Oh my god, Mino, you're absolutely right. I'm not used to getting so many chats into my chat, so it's gonna be need to be more manageable. But great reminder, thank you, sir. XMR. And straight away, when I just open a chart, this looks amazing. No market maker involvement while pushing price down. Bunch of liquidity. We're gonna build liquidity until we've taken enough on the lows, and then we're just gonna follow expectational order flow. Well, that's first hindsight, but let's see. What have we done here? This is great. You know, there's a lot of internal structure in between, but yeah, this was only your only point of interest that's still open in your whole demand. Because it's the only one that hasn't been tested back, and this was also the pump before you created new highs here. And that's when you just started building liquidity, so you would indeed have to wait for this. We only did get one tap into it, and we made a higher low, and we moved up. It's looking like this can just go up. This is also support around the $100 mark. I'm a fan of those levels as well. But you've only really broken structure on the higher time frame when, yeah, right here. That's when you could have expected this trend to continue. And right now we're just making higher highs, higher lows, right? So been streaming for an hour, maybe gonna do 15 minutes max. Then I'm gonna end the stream because I also wanna record a few crypto coins to upload, and I don't want my voice to be gone. But I must say this banana milkshake does help a lot. So expectation order flow. You can see the rounding bottom here as well. We can just expect price to continue towards this high. All right. Um, this is our structure: higher highs, higher low, higher highs. What's our expectation? A higher low for new higher highs. So we want to continue trading that until it's not there anymore. That's on the weekly. This brought us all the way towards new lows. That's what we gained here, not here, but we gained it here. And that's when we started to continue the trend. So this is our whole structure, demand, and this would be your refined demand. Because we are uptrending, I do want to draw on this range because it's looking like a deviation at the moment. Doesn't have to be, but we need to draw it in. Because over here we still have a refined block open. It wouldn't even be bad before pumping so hard through to do something like this. Would not be bad. Really realistic scenario. So that's straight away what I want to draw in on the daily time frame. There we go. It does move a little bit weird. Look at the 4 hour on XMR. This whole grind had been grinding for 2 weeks. Looks like it's almost untradeable there. Here again, another one of those weird grinds. But when it moves, it does move. But I just have to acknowledge I don't like that. I think this is a hunt. It is. So that means this scenario doesn't even have to go through because we have this at the bottom here. And then we got that expansion. Would have been a really nice setup in here though. Yeah, deviation is okay, but for an order to actually get that rotation down and see some market maker involvement, we would need to break structure. And this is our biggest part with a refined one. That brought us all the way up to new highs over here. So if we want to keep this momentum up, we would have to hold, and I would still look for upside even though we have the deviation on the high. Yeah, this looks great. We are building liquidity at the highs at the moment. Our expectational trend is up. So, Mino, we've talked about this yesterday in the VIP session. We need to wait for this. Bam. The momentum switch. Then this aligns. And then this aligns. And you can trade it towards here. So let's see if that's already the case. On the 50-minute, no. This is one block. Yeah, it's all the way over here. It's a little bit annoying, I must say, for us to take trades. But on the 5-minute, I know you already have it. This is what we're against at the moment. This could also indicate a range, a manipulation phase below, and then the expansion up. Great scenario. Let's zoom in though. Because we have made this retail pennant here with a bunch of higher lows and we've taken that out and then we started trading up, for me, we do not have to come back here. It's important for me that we are going to leave our targets open, because if we are going to take away our targets now and then go down, I'm not interested in longing. But when this liquidity is still here at the highs, then I am interested in still longing. Bam, our first change of character and our first hold in the market towards the upside. We never tested it back, but we did create liquidity above our great point of interest. Me to look for longs. This is the place, man. Then you would also have this. Bam, bam, bam. Great scenario. Your trend lick, your bam, your push down. Also talked a little bit about yesterday. It's basically your trend lick model. A lot of trend liquidity, then we take out a lot of them on the bottom, or we test the demand or whatever, and then we can continue towards everything that we've built. Okay, man. Yeah, this is what I would be waiting for. I'm gonna be a little bit careful though, because the PA it's not the most normal PA. I'm not sure the market cap of this coin, but thanks. Yeah, no problem, dude. And if we do touch this and we're going up and we're breaking this level, we could also still look if price wants to hold that level. If price shows us in this way it wants to hold that level, then we can still play the long all the way towards this liquidity. Okay. That's XMR for you. Let's quickly check the market cap of XMR, just because I'm curious. Damn, it's so high. It came so high. Don't know anything about this project, but okay. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Quickly check about the local things we've drawn in here. It's a privacy coin, okay. Well, it already has reached a really big market cap, so I'm guessing it's here to stay. But it doesn't matter anyways, as long as there are trading setups on it, then I'm down. Let's quickly scout through the list, and then I'm gonna end the stream here. We've already been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes, and I think we've done an amazing job today. YouTube should pay me to do this stream, to these streams, to be honest. But it's fine. Yeah, I don't think there's anything going on. I do like if we keep doing this. Then XPL becomes even better. Let's check a few coins we've charted on the higher time frame from our videos, like Arrow. Should look at that. Beauty, beauty, beauty. 17% from our point of interest at the $1. Beautiful. Link also was for me. Hold the $20. Upside, upside, upside. Yeah. I like how we're leaving all of these highs open. Shows me no market maker involvement, even though you've grabbed a good point of liquidity there. Let's hold this structure, and it's up. And preferably we want to do it from the $20 marks. One last request, near, then I'm gonna do near and after ending the stream. Oh man, a lot of... Okay, I'm always curious, right? What have I done over here? I always want to know. Some really old drawings from beginning of the year, so... Oh yeah, we had this possible accumulation in the making. Okay, nothing too interesting. Sure. I'm always letting the chart sink in a little and to see what's going on. Just take my time by looking at it and then process what's happening. Great resistance point. Great support points. These are really high time frame levels that just get respected really well, right? We also have one in the middle here, but I do not want to make it too hectic with just all these lines. But it's just to sketch your buys, because you can see the reaction between all these two zones. Meaning, if we break into this zone, we could expect upside towards our other point. That's a little bit about support and resistance trading. But we need to combine this support and resistance with a few of our local demands, local supplies, etc. I like this. I don't think we have to come lower on near than this, like how we kept on taking liquidity from the lows, then just blasting up towards new highs. Beautiful. This was really your last push down before. So I do want to extend in that. What? Thank you. I mean, we are just against heavy resistance at the moment on here. We've also created a really high time frame range. Reduce these or else it's gonna get in the way. With our swing low, our swing high, and then our first deviation at the low, signaling possible market makers could be filling up orders here. We have tested, don't think so, no sir. A nice daily order block candle. I know what happened on the lower time frame. That is a push up, your first hold, and then your push up. So this is your demand, and it has never been tested before. It will make this your extreme liquidity. So on the higher time frame, what we actually want to see is some sort of rotation towards here, and on the higher time frame, this would be a really good long POI, or another deviation of the low. Then I want to tap into that demand as well. We've sketched in below. Let's remove this middle point. Then we also have this range inside that range. Yes, it gets complicated, but hope you're still with me. You have another swing high and a swing low. Then our first deviation at the highs, signaling we could see some potential more downside from here, especially with leaving this swing high open for now. Could be for later, but let's see. We also have one at the lows, so that means we do not even have to come back here. If we start to accumulate from here, then price action doesn't have to go here. If the market makers show they want to step in here, they're gonna step in here, and they're not gonna go towards the other zone. Extreme demand, extreme liquidity. So let's draw on these scenarios. We always have to have a reason when we have that third tap below the range one more time. If that reason is to test this demand or something else, then we have to touch it when we get another deviation. But if there's literally no reason to go any lower here, we can expect price to give us this scenario. And if we don't, then most likely it's not going to be an accumulation. We have to have a reason with our third deviation. Why does the market still need to go below this low? So we've drawn in the long scenarios down here because we have a possible accumulation, and then we also have to draw in the distribution. That being your extreme liquidity. This is your first hold before moving down, makes it your extreme liquidity. Then I think we do not really have a supply here. We would have to look on the lower time frame in this week. We for sure have a supplier. Now we can exit replay mode. That makes it our extreme supply at the moment. So even for the distribution right now, we can sketch in the same 3 scenarios we have at the bottom. We can also do at the high. And do we have a reason? Do we have a reason to get the third tap above the high? Yes, sir. And that is because this high right here. That's an extreme liquidity point, so we have a reason to take that out. So these would be my higher time frame scenarios on there to look for possible shorts and longs. Let's take a little closer look on the lower time frame, because all of these scenarios don't have to play out, because we've also taken great liquidity here. We've started shifting our structure up, so it would not even be bad to expect a higher low for a higher high towards all of that liquidity right here. I wouldn't look for longs at the moment. 1, 2. This is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your Elliott wave as well. Most of the time when you get 3 impulses like these after each other, then the trend will shift. Okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in. Maybe here. This is open. I'm in. Truth prevails. Welcome to the stream, brother. How are you doing? Haven't seen your name in the chat before. What's up, man? And what do you mean, Ben, with I'm in? Are you in there? Is that what you're saying? This is still a point of interest where we could expect a reaction. Locally. Combination with this old part that brought us to new lows. Could be nice to see some reaction from there. Yeah, let's not really interested in near on how it's looking on the higher time frame, because we have been, man, how long is this? Ranging for 180 days. And the longer your consolidation is, the bigger your expansion is also going to be. It can either be down or up. So let's wait and see for these scenarios. I think we've pointed out some great higher time frame scenarios, for sure. Quickly go XPL. So if there's a trade opportunity, there is a trade opportunity, of course. No. But if we can keep on building these highs like I told, then the long around here gets more interesting. And if we do something like this, sweep all of that liquidity and then go down, I'm less interested. Because the liquidity on the highs is going to be your target when you're longing. I'm your new subscriber, bro. That's amazing to hear. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, man. How do you How do you feel about technical analysis? Have you been trading for a while? Yeah, I mean, just patience. Let's wait and see. We could even have a range here between these 2 points. Compressing, maybe take out the range low and then continue here. I also want to sketch in that. Sure, but it's a really little compression. It's on the 1 minute. Have you, what's your experience in trading through prevails? You can hear Mino say it. You came to the right place. Good to hear. Thank you, Mino. Yeah, for the rest, there's not really much to look at the market. I've done everything I need to do today. So let's just wait for the opportunities to align. If you want to see a chart request or if you have any questions, truth prevails, then now is the time to spit it, because I'm already at the end of my stream here, 1.5 hours. It's a really important stream. NER is a really undervalued privacy gem. I'm holding a large amount. Yeah, I'm not really into fundamentals on crypto coins. I just look at the technical analysis, okay? And looking at technical analysis, for sure, NER is going sideways for a while. We have this possible 3 taps at the bottom. We could really have some great long opportunities on NER here, for sure. If we start to correct towards here, we could have some amazing longs towards the upside. So let's see. And on the higher time frame, this is our boxes that we're moving in between. So we can get a long here. We can start to flip this and go towards the $10 mark. I like how we left this liquidity open on NER. Shows me no market maker involvement in pushing the price down. Could also be your range, your manipulation below, which looking like accumulation, and then the expansion up. Yeah, NER's not looking all that bad, man. I'm personally not a long-term holder. I trade, so Mino, legends for being here the whole stream. Yeah, it's been absolutely legends. But then again, he's trying to learn, right? So he's doing what he needs to do. But we are seeing your input, Mino. Okay. If no one has any more questions, then this is going to be the stream. I think it was one of my best streams that I've had ever. I think I've been analyzing really well, and talking through the analysis was also really comfortable, and the interaction from all of you guys in the chat also have been a major help. Really. 39 people have hopped into the stream today in total. We have 12 likes, which is my most liked stream ever. So we did something right. That's good to hear. Amazing value, as I just said, free VIP stream here. Yeah, it's absolutely insane, man. It's this is a stream to watch back, for sure. And to learn as well. I've drawn in a few higher time frame charts, right? Before you look at my chart and how I draw it in, try and draw it in for yourself. Then watch the video. Okay, what did Cage do? And that way you can compare yourself to the analysis that I've made, and that's also how you can become a little better in understanding the market. And of course, you always have the helpline in the VIP Discord at the moment. You can always send a message in there if you don't understand anything, something, or if you need help with anything. We're there, G. All right, it's going to be the stream for now. Exactly 1.5 hours have been streamed. That was around my maximum limit as well. So I'm just gonna wrap it up. If anyone has a chart request, you need to drop it into the Discord that is pinned in the stream at the moment. So, beautiful stream. Thank you for being here all. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.